Good morning, all of you. Now I am going to tell about the Unit 2 in electric vehicles. So that is Unit 2 is nothing but the electric vehicle, power plant and drives. And the syllabus under this Unit 2 is nothing but Introduction to Electric Vehicle Power Plants, Induction Machines, Permanent Magnet Machines, Switcher Reluctance Machines, Power Electronic Converters, that is DC to DC converters. Under DC to DC there is buck boost converter, isolated DC to DC converter, two quadrant chopper and switching modes. And also AC drives, PWM, current control methods, switched reluctance machine drives, voltage control and current control. So this is about the syllabus of the Unit 2. And coming to the general block diagram of EV system, we have already studied. There is a charger to charge the battery. From the battery, the DC energy will be flowing to the power converter. From the power converter, the DC is given to the electric motor. If it is AC, then this power converter will convert the DC to AC, and it will be fed to the electric motor. Then this electric motor will drive the wheels by using the transmission that is given to the wheels. This is the general block diagram of the EV system. Coming to this unit syllabus, we are dealing with the machines, that two AC machines. So under this AC machines, there are synchronous machines, asynchronous machines. Synchronous means it is nothing but the constant speed. The machines which are running with constant speed are called synchronous machines. And the machines which run other than the synchronous speed, those are called asynchronous machines, and those are nothing but induction machines here. So in the asynchronous type AC machine, the rotor rotates at a speed that is different but close to the synchronous speed. These machines are known as induction machines. And next, coming to the induction machines, these induction machines work on the principle of induced EMF. So that is nothing but the voltages in the rotor circuit are induced from the stator, which in turn induces the rotor rotating MMF, and hence these machines are called induction machines. There are two types of induction machines, those are squirrel cage induction machines and wound rotor induction machines. Under that first one, squirrel cage induction machines. Squirrel cage induction machines means the shape of this rotor of the induction machines will be in the shape of a cage type, and these are the rotor bars. These are skewed with the end rings. So on both sides of this rotor bars there are two end rings. So with these two end rings there are skewed. So this is nothing but the shape will be in the form of a squirrel cage. So this is called squirrel cage induction motor. So this is the stator part. The circuit diagram will be representing the squirrel cage induction motor like this is the stator, which will be having three windings. So A supply will be having A winding, and B phase will be having B winding, C phase will be having C windings. All these three are will be separated by 120 degrees angle, and this is the rotor. The rotor bars are completely short circuited here. That means you cannot add any extra resistance to the rotor circuit in case of squirrel cage induction machines. But whereas in case of slip ring induction machines, you can add extra resistance here by so that means by using the slip rings. So you can see this is the stator which is connected to the three-phase supply, and this is the rotor. This rotor is connected to the external resistance via the slip rings. So these are the slip rings which are by using these slip rings you can connect the extra resistance. So that is the advantage of the induction machine. So that means wound rotor induction machines, because here we can add extra resistance, so that by using varying these resistance you can control the speed of the induction machines. So this cannot be done for the squirrel case, because we cannot add any extra resistance in case of the squirrel case induction rotor. Okay. So the principle for this induction machines are, when a balanced set of voltages is applied to the stator windings, a magnetic field is established which rotates at synchronous speed. By Faraday's law, E is equal to BLV. As long as the rotor rotates at a speed other than the synchronous speed, the rotor conductors are cutting the stator magnetic field, and there is a rate of change of flux in the rotor circuit, which will induce a voltage in the rotor bars. And the difference between the rotor speed and the stator synchronous speed is called slip speed, that is S is equal to omega s minus omega r. Next concept is nothing but the regenerative braking. So this is the main advantage for the electric vehicles. What is this regenerative braking? So the regenerated energy can be used to recharge the batteries of an electric vehicle or hybrid electric vehicle. So the energy available during braking, that is when you press the brakes, there is some amount of kinetic energy. That kinetic energy was acquired by the vehicle during the acceleration. So the electric machine converts the mechanical power available from the vehicle kinetic energy. So when it is under acceleration, there is some amount of kinetic energy. That kinetic energy is nothing but is available at a machine as the mechanical power. So now this machine will convert the mechanical power to the electrical power, so that electrical energy will be supplied to the battery. So the induction machine works as a generator now when it is operated with a negative slip. That is, the synchronous speed is less than the motor speed. So that means the electrical energy is flowing in the reverse direction, so that the battery will be recharged now. So that recharged battery can be extended for some mileage, some range. The range of the vehicle can be extended now. So the negative slip makes the electromagnetic torque negative during the regeneration or the generating mode. So in the negative slip mode of operation, voltages and currents induced in the rotor bars are of opposite polarity compared to those in the positive slip mode. Electromagnetic torque acts as the rotor to oppose the rotor rotation, thereby decelerating the vehicle. So you can observe here, this is the graph between the torque and the angular speed. So that there are in the above, positive torque indicates it is in the motoring mode, and the negative torque indicates it is in the generating mode. Suppose when if the vehicle is operating at a frequency f1, now the suddenly brakes have been applied. So what happens is the frequency is suddenly shifted to the negative axis. The torque becomes negative, so that it will be shifted to the second to operating point. So from this operating point, the speed gets decreases, so that the speed generally decreases, and here in this region what happens is it acts as a generator, and now that mechanical energy is converted to electric energy, so that that electric energy is stored by the batteries. Okay. Suppose initially the electric vehicle is moving forward, being driven by the positive torque delivered by the induction motor, and the steady state operating point in this condition is at point 1. Now, as I told you, now the vehicle driver presses the brake to slow the vehicle. So when he wants to slow the vehicle, he presses the brake. So at that time, what happens is the vehicle system controller immediately shift to the motor drive frequency to F2. So from F1 to F2, it immediately gets shifted. So such that the omega speed will be reduced than omega 1. And also the operating point shifts to point 2 immediately, because the motor speed cannot change instantaneously. So what it happens is it changes the operating point due to the inertia of system. At the operating point 2, the slip and the electromagnetic torque are negative and the motor is regenerating. So this will slow the vehicle from this condition onward. Next topic is permanent magnet machines. So the permanent magnet machines is nothing but machines that use magnets to produce air gap magnetic flux instead of field coils as in DC commutator machines, or the magnetizing component of stator current as in induction machines are permanent magnet machines. The configuration of this configuration will not have any rotor copper losses. And these permanent magnetic machines are classified into two types. One is the permanent magnet synchronous machines, and the other one is the trapezoidal or square wave machines. Permanent magnet machines, these machines have a uniformly rotating stator field as in induction machines, and the induced EMF is of sinusoidal nature. Whereas in case of trapezoidal machines, the induced EMF is in the trapezoidal nature. So these are the two classifications of permanent magnetic machines. And coming to the first one, permanent magnet synchronous motor. So the permanent magnet synchronous motor, also known as sinusoidal brushless DC motor, where the field MMF is provided with permanent magnets. And these PMSMs are classified into two types. Those are surface mounted and interior machine configuration based on the position and shape of the permanent magnets. So if the permanent magnets are placed on the surface of the rotor, then it is called surface mounted. And if the permanent magnets are placed inside the rotor, then it is called interior permanent magnet machines. Next, second one is the trapezoidal permanent magnet motors, that is also known as permanent magnet brushless DC motors. So permanent magnet machines with the trapezoidal back EMF waveforms are known as permanent magnet brushless DC motor. The concentrated windings of the machines instead of sinusoidally distributed windings on the stator are the reason for the trapezoidal shaped back EMF waveforms. And next one is switched reluctance machines. Switched reluctance machines operate on the principle of variable reluctance. So reluctance means it is nothing but the opposite of in magnetic field resistance is nothing but the reluctance. That means the main concept is the reluctance of the magnetic circuit is depending upon the air gap. So it depends on the air gap. Hence, by changing the air gap between the rotor and stator, we can change the reluctance of the motor. So you can observe this is the construction of the switched reluctance motor. This is the stator and inside this is the rotor. On the stator there will be stator windings. So these will be A, B, C. Three phases will be there. So A dash, B, B dash, C, C dash. And the rotor will be having less than the number of poles on the stator. Suppose there are 6 poles on the stator. Now the rotor will be having less than 6. Here 6 are there. So less than 6 means 4. It is on the rotor there are 4 poles on the rotor. So what is this minimum reluctance position? Suppose here you can observe the upper one is the stator pole and the down one is the rotor pole. If the stator pole and the rotor pole are aligned each other, so here in this case you can see are aligned each other, then all the flux lines will be flowing from the stator to rotor. That means the air gap is less now here. So as the air gap is less, the reluctance is also less. Whereas if the rotor starts rotating in this direction, what happens is the air gap becomes more, so that the reluctance will be increased. So in this direction, the reluctance will be decreased. It goes on increasing, and in this position, it will be in the maximum position, and here this is the minimum position. You can observe here. So in the first position, this is the A is nothing but the stator, capital A, and small a is nothing but the rotor. So here these all are aligned each other. So that means A dash aligned with A double dash, small a dash. Next, this what happens is the rotor becomes shifted disward in the anti-clockwise direction. Now it repels in this direction, and B dash will be aligned. Next, it will again move in this direction, and it will become A dash will be in the C dash alignment. So by this movement, the rotor starts rotating continuously. And the block diagram of SRM is nothing but, here you can see this is the SRM, switched reluctance motor. From the switched reluctance motor you will sense the speed and it is given to the digital controller. This digital controller will provide the reference circuit to the reference signal to the converter circuit. So this converter circuit will send signals to the how much amount of energy is required from the battery. So that battery that will be given to the converter circuit, and this converter circuit will be given to this SRM, so that the required amount of speed can be produced. So this is the block diagram of switched reluctance motor. So that can be explained here in briefly. So in switched reluctance motor, the stator and rotor have projected poles. The rotor does not have winding, and the stator only carries main field winding. So each winding in the stator is connected in series with the opposite poles to increase the MMF of the circuit. It is called phase winding A dash, B dash, C dash. The rotor's shaft is mounted with a position sensor. The position sensor is used to determine the position of the rotor by a control circuit. Now the control circuit, what it does is it will always collect the information of the rotor position, and based on that the controller gives the input to the rotor. So that control circuit always continuously collect the speed of what is the speed of the SRM. so that will be fed back to the controller, so that it is given the required input is given to the motor. So that is about the SRM position block diagram.